think we're live. Hello and welcome to another episode of Marlins in the Morning. My name is Kyle Cruzy here with Nick Esposito. And folks, the Marlins are 0-7. Nick, how we feeling?
Not good.
Well put. That's about right. The Marlins are the first team since 2016 to begin the season 0-7. It's been 8 years since anybody did
Yeah,
this.
the first team to start 0-7, coming off a postseason appearance.
Yes, even better. Yeah. Here's a few of these stats. No 0-7 team has ever made the postseason either. So odds stacked against any team that starts 0-7. It is the first time since the 1988 Braves that a team has lost its first 7 games of the season when they were all at home.
Hmm.
So 7 straight home games, lost them all. And it's the first time since 1995 that the Marlins have lost 7 straight home games to open the season. So they've actually done this before. A poor showing at home, but they also won a few games on the road in the middle of that. I believe they were in Montreal. So, but yeah, we are looking down the barrel of a miserable start to the season. I don't know if you could have be in a worse situation on April 3rd. Today, a 10-2 loss to the Angels. No reason to even get into the game. Just disastrous from start to finish. It was an embarrassing loss in many different ways. An early error that extended the lead for the Angels. Just a poor play in center field. Not a poor play by Jazz, it was a tough play, but that didn't look good. Just, I mean, everything going wrong. Everything uh, not fun through this first week of baseball. We have good news stats. You ready for this, Nick? The Mets might also finish 0-162 this season. The only other team that
Yeah,
hasn't won
they
a game
won't.
yet
They
are the
won't.
Mets.
They won't. They won't win a game today. I can tell you that.
Yeah, they are off today, I believe.
No, rain out.
Oh, okay, so yeah,
So
good
yes.
analysis. Yeah, they're off. Um, more good news. This is actually a pretty interesting one. It feels like the Marlins are getting blown out. They just lost by 8. And they've lost by, I think, 7 another game. This is the best 0-7 team ever, Nicholas. The Marlins minus 27 run differential is the best of any team that's ever started 0-7. Only 5 teams have had a worse run differential, I believe, something like that. So yeah, we're not. That stat could be incorrect, honestly. I
Some of
didn't.
these batting averages are sweet.
Yeah, what's your favorite? The Marlins
So we have.
MVP of last season, hitting 185. Luis
So
Ariz.
we have 2 guys, 3. My bad. 4 guys batting north of 200.
Feel free to
Uh,
name them. They deserve credit.
oh yes, Josh Bell hitting 232, 231. Jake Berger, who has looked the best out of everyone, looked okay today, batting 310. DLC hitting 258, and Tim Anderson 231. So not
Ooh.
very much north of 200.
The OPSs aren't much better either.
Outside of Berger, yeah, I'm not even gonna. We're not even
The
gonna
only
go there.
OPS over 700 is Nick Gordon, who's hitting, who had that grand slam. Not a grand slam. He just had a solo home run.
Yeah, the pinch hit homer.
Yeah,
Yeah, not very good. At all. Anywhere across the board.
it's not fun.
Uh,
This has been tough to watch these first 7 games. Bullpen's not any better. AJ Puck, a starter. He goes 4 innings, 4 runs, 5 hits. It was his best start of the season. He got a little deeper into the ball game. Best start of his career, actually, his second career start. But you can't really have him as a
yeah, he
starter.
went
Burke
out
Smith.
there. Went out there 30 pitches in the first inning.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
Not good.
Um, it's a project that you didn't expect to have on game 2 of the season. Did you just yawn, Nick? Is this
I
Marlins team boring
think
you?
I did yawn.
Oh my goodness. How could this team not excite you? Bert Smith came in for a couple innings. He has not looked good. Um, Kent Emanuel, new call up. He throws 3 innings, garbage time baseball, gives up 4 runs on 58 pitches. Uh, yeah, I mean,
Yeah. The worst part is there's can't blame the roof. The roof was closed.
the roof was closed this time.
So you
We
can't
didn't have the
can't
shadows.
can't blame the shadows or the roof. I mean, maybe the AC was all was wasn't working properly and
Mm.
um
Here's the problem with this situation that I don't even think we had to deal with in 2018. There is no positive right now. There is no youth movement. There is no. I mean, I guess Nick Gordon instead of John Birdie is the difference. There is really no uh, positive. I mean, the farm system is ranked near the bottom in most
what are we
rankings.
2028 I think by
Um,
Baseball America, something like that.
yeah, and obviously there's some guys injured, so you have potentially some arms coming back. But is it really going to matter if the Marlins score 2 runs a game if we're losing 4-2 instead of 10-2? Um, this is
Yeah,
nothing
it'll be
good.
interesting. I each game that passes, it's becoming more and more apparent that we could be looking at a rebuild. And I don't know if we want to start throwing names around now. It's probably way too early to do that,
Mm, mm.
but it has
That
popped in.
sentiment's that sentiment's gonna start creeping into everybody's mind soon. There's the sell the team discussions are already breaking out. When you lose this many games in a row, everyone gets a little upset.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's the hardest part is coming off of the playoff win, doing absolutely nothing to improve or playoff appearance, apologies. Doing absolutely nothing to improve the team. Um, and then not really expecting to be better, but I guess expecting something other than this. It's slightly worse than one would expect. Obviously, like a 2-5 start was more realistic or expected than 0-7. But it's a bad taste. It's a bad look, and I saw some stuff thrown around that Bendix's vision is a rebuild, but you can't. It's a very very bad look if you go straight into a rebuild after a postseason appearance. Jeffrey Loria, uh, but so solution there, you don't improve the team. You end up with the roster that the Marlins have currently, where there are very, very few bright spots, none of which are really his doing. I mean, you acquire a project free agent, Tim Anderson. You don't deal with the Sandy injury um, in terms of like replacing his innings or attempting to replace his innings. Those pile up, and you get an 0-7 start with no real signs. I mean, this didn't look like a team. The Angels aren't world beaters. The Angels are going to finish with 75 wins, maybe 80 if Trout goes nuclear. They're not a good team. The Pirates may start hot. They started hot last season, but who knows if it's any form of like if there's any continuity there, like if there's any bright spots come June. Um, and the schedule gets harder. I mean, you look down and you look up and down the schedule this month, and it doesn't get easier than opening 7 straight games at home. Uh, yeah, I that's a small little rant. I know we'll have Ethan on later and whatnot, and we can wrap around back to it. But
I think
yeah,
your
it's
best
just
point there was the Sandy innings because we talk a lot about. I mean, Sandy struggled last year relative to his normal self, but
but he
the
was an inning
innings,
eater. Yeah,
big
and
time inning
there
eater.
Yeah. So obviously, you're not replacing Sandy. You're not replacing Sandy in the clubhouse. You're not replacing Sandy's production, albeit a down year for him last year. You're not replacing him with a similar caliber arm. But they did nothing to replicate his innings, to replace his innings, to replace the guy that went. I believe he had. Did he have close to 200, or he had over 200 innings last year?
I'm not certain about last year.
Um,
But yeah,
but replacing that form of productivity, you don't do anything. You're banking on, and then yes, injuries happen, but there was nothing done to account for that, to prepare for that. And I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think the Marlins made a move. They were one of the last teams to make a move in free agency out of all 30. And that's not big splash moves. That is every single transaction that an organization could make that accounts for everything. And they were the last team to do it. Coming off of a postseason appearance with in hindsight, you can look back, maybe not a as competitive as a roster as they were. Performing above expectations is another way to word that. Um, to not do anything about that is early signs of, okay, we're locking in on a rebuild, which sucks. It sucks for the fans, sucks for the players. Yeah,
I
that's my.
I don't want to go there yet. Maybe we'll talk a little more in
I know
detail
it's a
about that
little bit.
tonight.
It's a little early. It's April 3rd, but
Um, but yeah, let's not talk about this game anymore. We're gonna do something fun because we're done talking about the situation behind us. Little history. You ready for this? Top 4 Marlins commercials slash ad reads. Because I was noticing during this game that I was thoroughly enjoying the commercials and very much disliking when I had to watch the baseball. So I went back into my brain and my favorite advertising anything the Marlins ever did. Number 4, when they took down the out of town scoreboard on the Teal Monster and they put up a big MLB Network logo. I thought that was fun. Really nice touch to the classic stadium to just put a big logo on. Anyway, number 3, I think we should adapt or adopt this. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. You remember those? They had the
oh
big
yes,
train
yes,
coming
yes,
through, and
yes.
Rich Waltz would say, "Your Coors Light Cold Hard Fact," and it would be something like, "The Marlins are the first team since 2016 to be 0-7," or "No 0-7 team has ever made the postseason." Anyway, do you remember this one? At the end of every 3rd inning, they used to do the KFC Spanish ad read to advertise for both WAQI 710. Is that right? 7:10 AM? Uh, and to advertise for KFC in Spanish. And the last 3 letters of the commercial I understood were KFC, didn't get the rest of it. And number 1, clear number 1, I think every Marlins fan is gonna agree with me on this one, the Marooney call to the bullpen, with the Ghostbusters theme song, "Who You Gonna Call?" Marooney. All-time great ad to ever have in a broadcast. That's my number 1. Uh, that's all I got about the Marlins today. Here's some good news. You ready for this, Nick? Uh, where's my stats? Right here. For the next couple minutes, we're gonna talk about the Miami Heat. 105-80. Oh, that was the wrong game. That was, game 3 of the East semifinals. What was the final score last night? I believe it was, I wanna say 92 to or 102 to 92. Is that right? 109-99. Heat win by 10. Let's get my stats up here. Terry Rozier, the big story, last night. We're going full Miami Heat for the rest of this episode, Nick. I know you're gonna like this. Uh, Terry Rozier in 35 minutes. Listen to this. You wouldn't believe it. 34 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. He was fantastic. 8 of 11 from 3, including a dagger 3 with a hand in his face, fading away on the right side. Jimmy Butler, just 17 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. 5 of 12 from the field. He was solid, but it was Terry Rozier's night absolutely against the Knicks. Bam Adebayo, 15 points, 9 rebounds. He is just the dream defender. Should be a deep point candidate every single year. It's a joke that he isn't. Off the bench, Haywood Highsmith, by the way, hits a huge three in a tie game in the fourth quarter down the stretch. He finishes with 14 points, 6 of 11 shooting, 8 rebounds. Haywood Highsmith, all-time Heat culture type guy. Awesome to see out of Haywood Highsmith. What else we got? Not a lot of impressive numbers from the rest of the guys. By the way, did you notice, Nick, that Jalen Brunson was getting MVP chance in the? You can't just hold up your phone to the screen and expect me to be able to see it.
I
You got
pulled
to
up our
verbalize.
live. I pulled up our live
Oh,
stream.
okay. Um, Jalen Brunson, 20 points. Dante DiVincenzo had 31. The Knicks actually came back and the Heat stomped them out at the very end. Bogdanovich had 16. Precious Achiuwa, former Miami Heat. It's tough when you don't have a plural name to say a former player or a current. He's a Heat.
He's a
That's
Heats.
difficult. I guess we say Heatle a lot. I guess you could use that. Precious Achiuwa, 2 points, 6 rebounds. Yeah, that's all right. That kind of helped me a little bit, to be honest, Nick. I think that cleared up a little bit of my sadness. That makes me feel better. Tomorrow, Ryan Weathers versus Lance Lynn. If you want to continue your sadness, I believe we have a 4:10 start tomorrow. And you ready for the on this day before we finish things off, Nick? He's nodding for those of you
Yes.
listening
Yes.
because this is more of a audio show than anything. But uh, on this day in 2019, Jacob deGrom 14 strikeouts against the Marlins. Marlins lose 6-4. And you know what else Jacob deGrom did, Nick?
What did he do?
He hit a home run. Jacob deGrom hit a home run against the Marlins on this day in 2019. The Mets won that game, and well, they haven't won a game yet this year, so
The good
there's
part
that
is
going
if
for it.
we win tomorrow, we're in fourth place. Actually,
Yes,
isn't
but
true because if the
I
Mets
don't know
win,
if that's true because the Mets are 0-4 and we're 0-7, so that might not. Yes, we'd have a better win percentage than the Mets.
if
Boy,
no, only if
if
they don't win a game.
Marlins headed to St. Louis, though, breath of fresh air. Maybe you'd get a little change of scenery. Going to be either a quiet plane ride. I don't know what we'll get out of that. I don't know what the feeling is like in a clubhouse nowadays when a team's struggling like this. I can't imagine it's great. Um, we'll see how they respond. 7 games into the season, yet to win one. A lot of hard hit balls today that just found gloves. Maybe that um, is bound to turn around. But the other teams are also trying to win games, and the Cardinals are going to try to beat the Marlins. And you're not going to get one. You got to go earn one. And the Marlins certainly have noticed that. Rough start to the year. We'll talk more about it tonight. Tomorrow it'll be uploaded. For Marlins in the Morning, I'm Kyle Cruzy. The guy smirking over there is Nick Esposito. Thank you for listening. We're going to be more excited next episode because we're going to win a game, huh? What do you say?
That's the hope.
That's the dream right now.
Indeed.
Thank you everyone for watching, listening, whatever it may be, and go fish.
Go fish.